Thank you. Okay, let's get started. First of all, thank you all for coming. I apologize for the noise. We are today in particular, we need to put up a little bit of noise because it's necessary to try to get it done before the end of early part of next month. So the good news is that we probably should be able to be ready. The facility should be ready for the Chanchi, which is the end of next month. That's good news. The bad news is that we need to put up with this temporarily a little bit. I don't know if you notice it, but it's okay. It's no big deal. But since in January, when we brought when we received the Pearl Sharira, the chi at this temple is so much stronger. Okay, did anyone notice that? Anyone notice that the chi is a lot stronger in January when we brought the Shiras back? Anyone notice that? And then 2 weeks ago, or 2-3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, when we received the tooth and hair shariras and other shariras, the chi is even so much stronger as well. So it is really, really a blessing for us to be able to meditate at the temple. Let me translate in Vietnamese for the kitchen staff. Chào quý vị, xin lỗi quý vị là ngày hôm nay nó hơi ồn ào một tí, tại vì đang cần sửa soạn, ngày đặc biệt phải cần sửa soạn để gặp cho kịp cái thiền thất mà cuối tháng sau. Có vẻ như ông thợ khoáng nói thì chắc là sẽ làm kịp, trừ làm sớm, không sớm. So, thành thầy xin lỗi đã cái hơi ồn ào một tí, bận rộn ồn ào quý vị một tí. Thầy muốn nói là từ khi mà mình thỉnh được cái xá lợi chân châu về cái chùa từ tháng Giêng đó, thì thầy để ý thấy cái khí mạch của cái chùa nó biến hẳn, nó mạnh gấp mấy lần lúc trước nữa. Rồi 2 tuần rưỡi vừa rồi khi mà chúng ta nhận được cái thỉnh về được cái xá lợi răng với lại cái xá lợi tóc thì cái khí nó còn mạnh hơn nhiều nữa. Thành ra đây là một cái phước báo mà chúng ta có thể có để mà thể tới chùa để mà thiền, để mà luyện tập thiền. So again, this is really a blessing to be able to practice here, to meditate here at the temple. So I hope that more people become aware of it and come and take advantage of it. Nên hy vọng có nhiều người trong tương lai sẽ biết cái chuyện đó, tới đây để mà hưởng cái lợi đó. All right. I don't think we should post this on the internet. At least post it in 2 or 3 weeks instead of posting it right away. You know, post in a month or something after we're done, right? You understand? We don't want to post it right now with a record of all this noise here and draw attention to it. All right. we also very fortunate because the workers we have are very good. They work very hard and very conscientious, and that's what we appreciate. I don't know how to encourage people to practice meditation more regularly. I noticed that it is important for all of you to realize that meditation provides you stability during the day. That's very important. It is very important for all of us to meditate regularly, especially when we're busy. In fact, when you have this kind of noise, it's a real challenge to learn to meditate and not let it bother you. Okay? That's part of the training as well. Don't let it afflict you. You should be able to meditate and it should not bother you at all. It doesn't bother me. Okay? Just ignore the sound, ignore the noise. Invariably, when people learn to meditate and they have some skills, that's when your obstructions arise, and that's when you suddenly have more excuses, very compelling reasons not to meditate anymore. Number one, you're too busy. Okay? And number two, you have more problems than before. Okay, those are very common reasons that arise, reflecting the nature of your obstructions. Meditation is a process where every day, every time you meditate, it is a new journey of discovery. It's never the same. Every single time is not the same. So I know throughout the years, many people come to me and say, Master, how come I meditate so well and all of a sudden now I can't meditate anymore? I sit down and my mind is full of thoughts and I'm so afflicted. I can't sit as long as before and all those things. It only means that your karmic structure becomes stronger and stronger the more skilled you become. No two ways about it. So meditation is about learning to persevere in light of those obstructions, in light of those challenges, and that's how you grow. Okay, I find meditation to be fascinating because it's never the same. It is really, really a luxury to be able to meditate and discover, to make discoveries, if you will. All right. Any questions or comments? Yes.
So is that a similar thing that challenges you, but more trouble waking up, and then as we get more of the shariras, it's harder and harder to wake up. Getting stronger in response to these things coming here.
What was the question again?
Is that also just my obstruction getting stronger in response to like the energy of the shariras coming?
Possibly. The one rule of meditation is endure. That's what eventually you will understand. It takes time for you to go through this process. And part of the discovery is to endure. Okay? You have to learn to endure and keep up with it. It doesn't matter what. If it's a struggle, you keep at it. For a lot of novice monks that I know, the schedule we have is very tough. Not only are we busy all day and we expend a lot of energy all day. That's why we need a lot of calories. Okay, and you run out of calories towards the end of the day. Okay, and early in the morning before lunch, you run out of calories. You run out of steam, and in particular in the morning, it's quite difficult to get up. Okay, and it takes about a year or so before you're able to stabilize your system, because the demand we put on you it's just overwhelming. It really overwhelms you. That's by design. Okay, the training program is really, really overwhelming. And that's why you learn so much so quickly. Whereas if you are comfortable and things are under control and your comfort level is pretty high, then your journey is not very fruitful for you. Not that fruitful for you. For example, in 1 year's time, in a very short time, 1 year's time or within 2 years' time, you learn so much more than people who cultivate, or monks who have left home life for 10 years. That's the kind of intensive program we go through. It's because that's how we help you build a foundation to soar to great heights. Okay. Mahayana is not about talk. Mahayana is about results. If you want results, you have to do. You don't meditate, you don't execute, you don't follow the program, you will not get the results. Okay? So, this is what's interesting about what I find about Mahayana so fascinating, in that it's not about the amount of time you put into it. It's not about seniority. It's not about age. It's not about youth. Not about money. Okay? The teaching design to take you to very, very high. Frankly, you can go as far as your teacher is able to lead you. That's the bottom line. Okay? The journey of discovery in Chan is basically for you to follow the lead, follow the pathways that your teachers, your Chan teachers, is guiding you through. I cannot go beyond what your teachers is able to help you discover. The reason I say that is because that's my experience. the teaching that I learned from my Chinese teacher, he taught the same thing. He's documented the same thing in English, in Chinese. Very poorly in Vietnamese. I looked out in that. I read it in English. And and back then. Hoan nghênh quý vị đến. Có cần tiếng Việt hay là nghe tiếng Anh nói nghe có hiểu được không? Cần tiếng Việt. Tiếng Việt ha. Okay, there's some Vietnamese new guests that just came, so let me translate for them. Cái thiền á, là theo mà thầy học với ân sư ngài Tiến Hóa đó, là một cái pháp môn nó rất là rộng. Thành ra khi mà thầy bắt đầu học pháp môn thiền á, thì hồi đó mấy cái sách tiếng Việt không có, mà thầy chỉ đọc tiếng Anh thôi, tiếng Hoa cũng chưa hiểu nữa. Thành ra cái may mắn của thầy là thầy học cái phương pháp luyện thiền theo tiếng Anh của ngài nó rất là rộng. Tại vì cái người mà dịch cái cuốn sách, cái phương pháp thiền đó, mấy đệ tử người Anh của ngài Tiến Hóa đó, trình độ họ rất là cao. Còn mấy cái người đệ tử mà tiếng Việt, người Việt của ngài Tiến Hóa đó, trình độ không được cao lắm. Thành hồi đó họ không dám dịch mấy cái sách thiền. Okay. Thiệt ra bây giờ mấy cái người thiệt ra họ cũng không dám dịch những sách thiền của ngài Tiến Hóa thiệt sự bây giờ nữa, tại vì cái trình độ thiền họ chưa có. Thành ra cái quan trọng khi quý vị mà là tu luyện đó, nhất là mấy pháp môn thiền đó, là quý vị phải hiểu cái phương pháp mà cái người thầy dạy. Không khác gì cái người thầy dẫn quý vị đi, hướng dẫn quý vị đi. Thì người thầy vẫn có khả năng cao như ngài Tiến Hóa thì có thể hướng dẫn quý vị đi rất là xa. So again, I reiterate to you, the training, the Chan training that we provide, that my master provides, is each meditation teacher provides, is limited to the teacher's ability to lead to how far the teacher can lead you. So if you choose the wrong teacher, I'm being honest here. If you choose the wrong teacher, you will be limited by your teacher's ability to take you. Thành ra cái thầy mà thành thật nói cái vị cái vị mà tu hành mà chọn người thầy thì người thầy đó sẽ chỉ có thể dẫn cái vị tới bao nhiêu xa đó, tại cái ngày đó chỉ có thể thấy được chuyện đó thôi, để thấy dẫn cái vị đến chuyện đó xa thôi. Thành ra lúc mà tu hành chọn người thầy nó quan trọng dễ sợ lắm. Cái người thầy mà người hướng dẫn mình đi nó rất quan trọng. So it's very important for you to connect with the proper teacher, okay? And it's not a whole lot you can do about it. For example, nowadays I notice that people, they go to the temple because it's convenient, okay? Not because of the good teacher, because they happen to be close where they live or whatever. But back then, the tradition of Chan has always been where you seek out wherever a good known advisor is. Thành ra cái truyền thống mà thiền tông đời xưa đó là chú trọng để tìm thiền tri thức, là người thầy nào mà giỏi thì mình tới mình học. Còn cái thời buổi mà bây giờ thì thường các Phật tử, người thiền sinh, người ta kiếm cái chỗ mà nó thuận lợi cho thuận tiện cho người ta, thay vì mà cái chỗ mà huấn luyện giỏi. Okay, so going back to my personal experience, so I learned from the Chan techniques from English, which is a very lucky thing, because the translation from Chinese into English is very, very good. Unfortunately, the translation from Chinese to Vietnamese is not that good. Still is not that good. In fact, it turns out that nowadays, even his disciples, Master Hsuan disciples, don't even translate into Vietnamese a lot of his Chan teachings. The reason being that they don't understand the Chan that Master Hsuan taught, period. Okay? A lot of these Chan books, for example, Master Hsuan wrote, he wrote excellent Chan books in Chinese. The translation to English is very, very good. Okay? Is not able to convey, it misses a lot of fine subtleties, but still the level of Chan translation is very, very high. Okay? But it turns out that the Vietnamese translation is not there. So I'm pretty sure Spanish is not there either. So you're limited by the ability of the person or translator's ability to understand what they're translating. So it's very, very important. So what I learned in English is that I found out that with the same teaching, okay, your ability to go far or not very far depends on how much you're willing to follow the instructions. Okay? So that's the beautiful thing about the teaching. The teacher never tries to limit your attainment. It's you yourself limit your own attainment. You yourself interpret the teachings improperly. You put a limit on your practice. For example, I give you an example. Master Hsuan says that bear the pain. Just endure the pain. Okay? So that's what I did. I kept on enduring the pain my entire life. I still endure the pain. Don't tell people that. Master still has pain when he meditates. Okay? But I'm still learning to endure it. Whereas other people, other people would interpret it as, okay, I'm going to endure for 5 hours, for 6 hours, for 7 hours, 8 hours maximum. That's it. I don't have time beyond that. Okay? So you see, these students, they add more to the instructions than was from the original instruction. The original instruction is bear the pain, endure it. That's it. And it's the students who don't understand the Dharma who says, I'm going to endure for 5 hours. One of his disciples proudly told me I can sit for 5 hours. Another one, very senior one, says, I can sit for 8 hours. I don't do more than 8 hours. Okay? All those are erroneous, wrong interpretations of the Dharma. Okay? So that's why beyond a certain level, and then I found the English translation to be not that accurate because they also, in the translation process, they mistranslate the original teaching in Chinese. So afterwards, I had to learn everything in Chinese. I didn't want to learn English anymore. I learned English in order to explain it to you, to use the same language in English, so that's consistent. Okay? But in terms of the intricacies of the actual Chan meditation my teacher taught, okay, the Chinese is far better than English. Okay, and that's why my students, I invest. I'm willing and prepared to help them invest the time to learn Chinese. It's very, very important for them to learn Chinese because I want to make sure that they themselves understand my teachers' Chinese instructions. Because just in case I'm limited, I'm not the same level as my teachers. So if you only rely on me okay, then at some point in time, I will limit you as well. Okay? You understand that? The last thing I want to do is limit your own level of attainment for some from Chan instruction that's available in Chinese already, which is very, very good. Okay? And that's why you should learn, you should have a chance to learn Chinese. I encourage people to learn Chinese, by the way. If you're serious about Mahayana, you have to learn Chinese. There's so much Mahayana teachings that's available in Chinese that's not available in English yet. There's so much Mahayana teachings that is available in Chinese and my Chinese teacher hasn't been able to teach yet. There's so much, especially the advanced levels in Chinese. It's very advanced teachings. My Chinese teacher did not teach. I know he understands them, but he doesn't have the time to teach them, nor there is the opportunity to teach them. For example, the Dharma is in response to the audience, targeted audience. Okay? So for him, for my Chinese teacher, Venerable Shenhua, to bring it that far, okay, is incredible. Incredible, tells you the incredible level of his students. The full range, from very low to very, very high. Okay? But there's still other teachers who are even more advanced than my Chinese teacher. The Chinese patriarch are more advanced than my Chinese teacher. And they taught the dharmas that they're very advanced, that we need to learn. And that's my personal goal, to go to help increase the depth of Mahayana in the West. Okay, so my particular interest is to go beyond my Chinese teacher's teachings, so that we enrich the Mahayana in the West. As it stands today in English, it's very good, but it has to be deeper, has to be richer. Okay? So Mahayana meditation is ultimately to help you understand and deepen your wisdom, expand your wisdom, so that you're able to more effectively solve your problems. Okay? Mahayana is about learning to solve your daily problems. That wisdom is reflected in how effective you are at dealing with your daily problems. Okay? So Mahayana is more practical, you think. It's not about what is enlightenment, by the way. The objective of Mahayana, of Chan, is to become enlightened. But until you become enlightened, there's a journey that will make you become a better problem solver in everything you face. That's part of training. Okay? For example, I'll give you an example. If your goal, let's say, is to be, you wish to become enlightened, okay, then someone has to give you food to eat. Until you become enlightened, someone has to feed you. You need money to pay for the bus fare, for the car insurance. Okay? Because we are dependent on those things. We can't drive a car here in California without insurance. We're not supposed to. And we can't meditate when our stomach growls too loudly. Okay? To me, the stomach growling, the noise from the stomach is even worse than the noise up there right now. Okay? So part of the practice has to be able to help you, resolve all these issues until you become enlightened. If you ignore it, you say, okay, I'm going to become enlightened, I'm going to dedicate my life to become enlightened, and I'm going to ignore everything else, sacrifice everything else, then you most likely will not be able to become enlightened because you don't have the necessity to become enlightened. Okay? For example, if you lack wisdom, you lack if you lack clarity of mind, then you tend to take things and people for granted. Okay, for example, you take your wife for granted. Okay, you say, you know the saying in the common wisdom: when mother is unhappy, the whole family is unhappy. So that's the way it is. Okay? So part of becoming enlightened is to make sure your mother is happy. Okay, otherwise she will torture you to death. She will not leave you alone. It will make your life so miserable. Okay, that's part of it. Okay, but that does not mean that we compromise our system, our value system at all. Okay, so it's a trade-off. There's always a balance you need to strike between getting the necessities of life that you need to have, and also not compromise your value system. Okay, I'll give you an example, another example. Okay, the Chan patriarchs are Chan teachers. You see all of them invariably, all of them avoid wealth, avoid notoriety. They don't like it. Okay, not because they can't handle it. Okay, it's because they're trying to teach their students. Okay, by example. He said, once you become enlightened, what's money? What's notoriety? It doesn't mean anything. Okay, so that's why they try to behave in a way that helps their students understand. But it doesn't mean, for example, that they should renounce wealth or notoriety. For example, my teacher, when he practiced in secret. People don't know how he practiced. He doesn't look for fame. He doesn't look for recognition. But after he came to this country, and after he decided that he needed to widely propagate Mahayana, then he has to become famous. Then he has to accrue wealth. Okay, he has so many assets by the time he died. And he is so famous every time he died. His fame increased after he died. Okay, so that tells you that after once you become enlightened, you no longer are the patriarchs and the Chinese enlightened, the enlightened masters. They don't have to worry about being corrupted by fame and by wealth. Not at all. The wealth and fame don't mean anything to them, but it's necessary for them to do their work. Okay. For example, I find that a lot of meditation instructions are erroneous. They are not complete instructions. I talked to a person, for example, this week. He has so many questions about meditation. And take, for example, the Dharma door of breathing, which is very commonly taught out there. When people learn to meditate, the overwhelming majority of them will learn to meditate by contemplating their breath. Okay, it shows you the prevalence of the Hinayana, the strength of Hinayana meditation availability out there. Okay, and it turns out that the instructions for the breath contemplation is erroneous. It's wrong. The way they teach it, the way they encourage the students to practice is wrong. So, for example, this guy says, my teachers tell me to extend my breath, make it longer, and make it deeper. Okay, and I say, no, that's wrong. You don't. It's not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha, in the Satipatthana Sutra, I think, the sutra on meditation, breath contemplation, Satipatthana. Huh? Satipatthana. That's the sutra on meditation, right? Yeah, it's very famous. It's a Bible of the Hinayana meditation. Okay, in that sutra, you can ask Bhante again the exact name. I forgot already. It's been 20 years. Yeah, that's what I learned too as well. I read it and I tried to memorize it, but as I get older, my memory gets worse, so I don't remember anymore. But in the sutra, the Buddha says you have to be aware of your breath. You aware your breath is short, you aware your breath is long. Okay? But it doesn't say at all that you should make your breath longer. Does it? No, not anywhere in sutra. Does he say you need to extend your breath? Pull it in longer and deeper? Not at all. And yet, a lot of teachers out there are saying you should breathe more deeply. And that's wrong. That's totally wrong. And there's subtleties like that makes your meditation and causes problems for people when they meditate. So the instructions are erroneous. Okay? It's because these teachers don't understand meditation. They don't practice it. This is why we encourage you to practice every day, because every day you practice, you encounter these problems, and that's when you learn what's wrong, what's right. Okay? Meditation is not meant for you to read about. It's meant for you to practice. Okay? And so I find that a lot of instructions are erroneous, and it seems like a dual problem. Number one is that I'm not interested in having a big crowd, okay, to come to the temple. On the other hand, the people don't seem to have enough blessings to be able to learn the proper methodology. It's dual. It's both sides. One side is that, from my personal side, I'm not interested in handling big crowds. I feel it's my students' responsibilities, not mine. I'm not interested in having hundreds of thousands of people come meditate every week. That's too much. It's too many. Okay? I think later on, it's my students' task is to handle those crowds, because I am not interested in low-level students. I'm not. I have no time for them. Okay. On the other hand, also, in order to learn the proper methodology, you need to plant the proper blessings with the proper methodology before you can benefit from it. Okay, and that's a problem nowadays. Very few people have enough blessings to be able to learn and practice a proper methodology. So it's not a whole lot you can do. Yes.
If we don't create blessings, and on the opposite, we are creating more offenses.
Yes.
How this going to interfere with meditation and also with more than anything with meditation?
Yeah, it's true. Not only that, for example, people who don't meditate, don't practice properly, and yet they're actually saying that I'm teaching meditation wrong. Okay? They're creating offenses against my Dharma. That means that in the future you're going to have a hard time. You're going to really have a hard time learning and benefiting from my Dharma. And that's the problem. It's a real big problem. It's a catch-22 problem. Okay? For example, there's some people at very low level and much more senior than I am in terms of they've been a left-form person much longer than I have. Okay, the meditation skills are pretty low. Okay? Again, it's not about time. It's about how far are you willing to follow your teacher's instructions. That determines how far you can go. It's not how long you meditate. It's not how long you've been practicing. It's how committed, how willing you are to follow the instructions to the letter. Okay? That's the bottom line. And so these people are very low level. These happen to be students of my Chinese teacher, my late Chinese teacher. And so they say, for example, they tell each other that what I teach is, I have some skills, but I teach low-level students. I can only train low-level students. That means that they can recognize that I have some skills, and then but the skills is pretty low. What they're doing is they are doing a disservice to their own teacher's instructions because they don't practice the teacher's instructions at all. They don't follow his instructions at all. At the same time, I follow his instructions much more than they did, and I understand a lot more about China than they do. And now they are not only degrading my Chan skills, they also are indirectly criticizing my teacher's Chan skills. Because really my Chan skills come from my teachers. Okay? So if they say, for example, that I don't understand Chan and that I only, my level is low, okay, that means that they are impeding my personal efforts in propagating my Chinese teacher's Chan skills, my Chinese teacher's Chan knowledge. See? So they're shooting themselves in the foot. Are they hurting me? They're hurting themselves by not being able to take advantage of my teachings. Okay? They're also hurting themselves by not being able to take advantage of the high-level teachings of their Chinese teacher. It's a dual thing. It's a very, very, very bad thing for them. Okay? So what can you do? There's nothing I can do. It's my personal karma as well. And hopefully, in time, people will understand. More and more people will come and learn from us. Because it's part of a life of a monk, if you will. Okay? Unlike Bhante here, who's real famous in his country, Sri Lanka, he knows the prime minister and the president of the country, and they come and talk to him. And he has a weekly and daily TV and radio shows and newspapers and so on. Okay, I don't know what he's doing here. I mean, it's like a scary thing for us. The reason it works is because you get recognition from the authorities of Buddhism in the country. In the U.S., there's no such mechanism. There's no authority in Buddhism or Mahayana. Okay, many people came to try, for example, to certify me because in our world, you need to be certified by someone higher than you in status, right? He says, yes, this person knows about Buddhism. Yes, you can believe him. This is proper Buddhism. Okay, that's what happens in your country. Your teachers and the professors and universities and the prime ministers and the president say, okay, yeah, listen to him because he's right. Right? That's what happened. In this country, no such mechanism. It's much harder. Okay, it's much harder in this country. So what happened in this country, like the rest of the world, is that you need to have a senior monk to certify you, okay? And I'm walking the same path as my late Chinese teacher. No one certifies me because I'm not seeking to be certified. My late Chinese, my late Vietnamese teacher tried to offer to certify me. I look at him and I say, no, first of all, I don't need to be certified. I'm not seeking to be certified. Number two, the person who certifies me has to be able to certify me. Okay? Right now, when you don't understand Mahayana, you have no business certifying others. Okay? It's not a sham. It's not a sham. Okay? So the certification is master to master. It's not meant to be publicized. It's not meant to be advertised. It's not meant for monetary gains or notoriety reasons. Okay? It's encouragement. It is guidance. It's not public. Okay? So that's the path my Chinese teacher took. I'm treading the same path. I'm not seeking to be certified. Okay? Until I find someone I admire, and they tend to be dead already, like my Chinese teacher. I wish he's still alive. I come to him and say, please certify me. Okay, I would do that. Okay, but I have yet to meet anyone besides my late teacher that I feel I would request for the honor to be certified. Okay, so. It is part of the process where just like my late Chinese teacher, he's a very advanced level. As far as I know, he's very, very advanced. And he spent a lot of time teaching, guiding his students, leaving behind very profound teachings, very advanced teachings, and it's not meant for the public to know. It's only meant for a handful of people to know. And his notoriety after he died is only for low-level people. Okay? Low-level people. It didn't change much for the advanced level. And it's very critical, it's very important because I'm saying this because I sincerely hope that his students who are currently in charge of dissemination of his teachings will understand that there's depth in my late Chinese teacher that they don't understand. And I hope they make it available. He left like mountains of tapes at the CTTB, City 10,000 Buddhas, that no one, that I feel they don't quite understand what they are, that they can't gauge the depth of that. They should make it available, turn it into a audio or electronic library so that the whole world can come and study it. Why they have to hold it themselves? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? Mahayana, in my eyes, is depth. It's not about popularity. I'm not interested in popularity. We're not here to compete against Catholicism. We're not here to compete against Taoism. We're not here to compete against Hinduism. It's not that. It's about furthering your wisdom. Bring you closer to Buddhahood. That's our primary goal, Mahayana, is to bring you closer and closer to Buddhahood. To the ultimate achievement, in my mind, is Buddhahood. It's nothing else more worthwhile for me, as far as I see. Okay? Than Buddhahood. So Mahayana's goal is to bring you closer and closer. Chan's goal is to bring you closer and closer to that point called Buddhahood, the Buddha fruition. That's what we want to do in Chan. That's what I'm trying to do with Chan. Okay? So it's never about building a big stupa or building a lot of temples and having a lot of disciples. It's about bringing that individual who are qualified, make it available, the instruction for the qualified individual to get closer and closer and closer. That's Mahayana. So my Chinese teacher teaching is so wide, from very low level to very high level. That's widely available. So what happens right now is that his disciples are making, if you will, his level is this high, and his disciple is only making this much teachings available right now because they feel to it. You see that? So instead, if I were them, I would make all the Chinese stuff available, digitize them, and make it available for the whole world to learn, come and learn.
Is there a way that is, how do you call it, so egocentric among themselves, or is it because they don't have the capacity to teach them?
Well, I don't know. I don't dare to comment. I don't dare to comment on their level and their motivation. I'm just saying, offering one person's, perspective. That's all. Yeah, and I feel that they have my teachers. It has so much more in Chinese than's available in English. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and I'm beyond that already. Actually, I went beyond my Chinese teachers, Chinese instructions. I alluded to earlier. I moved on to other patriarchs' teachings as well, to broaden, because my Chinese teacher can bring so far, okay? And there are other Chinese patriarchs who also brought more to Mahayana. That to me is worth looking into and broadening the Mahayana knowledge. And that's how I see myself trying to do, to repay my Chinese teacher's kindness. Not by staying within his teachings, but going beyond it. Okay? So that Mahayana is richer than when he was here. Okay? And that to me is the responsibility of the future generations. Keep on broadening Mahayana. It's boundless, because we only have so much time that we can teach. My Chinese teacher has spent 40, 50 years this life teaching. That's it. And that's all we could teach during that amount of time. Now it's up to us to expand it and add more to it. Okay? So, but that doesn't mean that I'm neglecting the full range. The teaching is available to the full range, and whoever comes along, we help them along. Okay, and I'm saying this because I hope that in the future I have the chance to train more students, and then they're able to themselves help others to broaden the level. Because my personal interest is to go high up there. Because, again, my goal is to expand Mahayana knowledge beyond the English knowledge right now. It has to be expanded. Okay? And then we make it available, in future when you reach higher levels, and you help broaden it to the different languages, your languages. That's important. That's part of our gift to the world. Okay? Then it's worth it. That's my hope. My hope is not, we do this not only to benefit ourselves, but to leave something behind for our children, for next generation. Okay? Just like our teacher did for us. Think about it. We're here today because of the kindness and the compassion for our teachers who taught us so much. Okay? And I personally feel that in order for us to truly pay it back, is to expand it and go beyond the teachings. Okay? Right.
Was he able to flourish some of his goals with, not flourish, but he accomplished the goals of
Yes.
propagating
Yes.
the
It's very big. That's a good question. How do you know his success? His success is gauged by the level of attainment of his disciples. His disciples' attainment is pretty high, very, very high. I would say higher than, one of the highest levels in this country. Okay? Not in China. Not anywhere else. So that's why he predicted. He says, Mahayana will flow from the U.S. back to the rest of the world. He predicted already. Okay, so that's how we gauge the teacher's breadth. Okay, is by the breadth of his students' attainment, the depth of his students' attainment. And I know for a fact that his students' attainment is pretty high. Okay, but not only that, let me tell you. It's no Mahayana is not only limited to Master Hsuan Hua's side. It's so much more. Okay, because Master Hsuan Hua is only one side of Mahayana, one section of Mahayana. It's just a lot more, and so it's fascinating. Trust me, it is so. It is the depth and the breadth is just wonderful. It's just so rewarding to me. So fascinating. I feel that it's so enriching, so wonderful experience. Okay, but in order for you to reach those higher depths, higher levels, you have to take care of the broader lower level. Because, for example, you need to make it available to the Spanish, to the Sinhalese, and to the Vietnamese and so on. Because when you do that, you accrue blessings for you to be able to go higher. You have to create blessings. In Chinese, it's called Li Da Gong. Okay, I stress that you create great merit. Every time in my path, every single time I'm able to encounter the great Dharma is because I created great merit. Every single time. Okay? That's how you have the blessings to be able to encounter and practice, is by creating great merit. You want to practice the great Dharma, you have to create great merit. You want, it's not like you should not go back and say, okay, so I have the great merit, I'm going to ignore the small merit. No, it's about creating merit constantly. Wherever you have a chance to do, go for it. Even the smallest, you still do it. That's part of great merit. Great merit is made up of small merits. Many small merits. Okay? All right. Time is up. It's 11. I don't know how you could survive sitting here for an hour listening in this noise and confusion. But any questions before we go to lunch? Absolutely. The more difficult the circumstances, the stronger the skills will develop. No two ways about it. This is very important. Okay. I went to a desert temple, a Vietnamese desert temple, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. And they're building a big complex and they're making very, very nice amenities, a lot of facilities, very, very pleasant. And I looked at it, at the abbot, and I said, I apologize for saying this because you didn't ask for my advice, but I'm offering it to you anyway. I respect you too much. I think you have ideals. I love your ideals, but your approach is wrong. Because if you make the temple too comfortable, okay, too luxurious, then it softens your students. It has to be tough. Okay? Your students, in order for you to go further, you need to be tough. You need to encounter a lot of obstructions, and it's the teacher's job to help you overcome your obstructions. That's part of the training. If it's pleasant, if it is so easy, it is no problem, no serious problems at all. Like people who come to the weekend on out there and go to meditation, expect to be a pleasant experience. You know, they go there and so you feel good. You come to the meditation center, you feel good, you walk away feeling good. Okay, that means they're making no progress whatsoever. Is that clear? You go and it's a pleasant experience. You're not making any progress. Progress comes with a price of hardship, of difficulties. That how you learn to overcome those difficulties, that's how you progress. Difficulties are not pleasant. Okay? That's one. That's okay. That's okay. We need to accommodate those people who want to come only to feel good and walk away feeling good. That's fine too. See, that's my teacher's dharma too. Okay? We accommodate people's likings. That's perfectly okay. Okay? And it's up to you to take care of those people. I take care of the people who want it hard, who want it tough. Okay? All right. Thank you. Let's go to lunch.